did you know that today is Cyber Monday, one of the biggest holiday shopping days of the year? So how are the record levels of inflation and supply chain issues affecting one of the busiest shipping times of the year?
Well, we can only imagine. Our Sydney Stallworth is talking with a local trucking company, joins us live from downtown Sydney.
Well, Michelle, Rennie, you guys are exactly right. Today is Cyber Monday, and 64% of American shoppers are going to be logging on this morning to buy something. And that means in the coming weeks, the transport industry will be facing even more pressure to deliver this, while inflation and supply chain disruptions are really making just about everything harder on the roads and the rails.
From foods to plastics, packaging, really anything that you touch. We've moved with furniture, you name it.
But in 2022, business looks a bit different for St. Louis-based Vega Transport.
So we were super busy for the past 2 years or so. Now we're seeing a slowdown in the freight demand. Inflation is a thing that touches everybody.
Trucking companies are plagued by rising fuel and labor costs, and higher prices for things like lumber, steel, aluminum, and polyethylene mean new equipment costs a lot more than it used to.
We primarily buy trucks and trailers. So trailers, for instance, saw a 35% increase year over year. The difficulties were not just in prices, but sourcing parts, sourcing materials.
Nick Sinanovich is the president of Vega Transport. He tells me it used to take about 3 months for the company to get a new truck on the lot. Now it takes about a year.
The supply chain touches everybody.
And finding drivers to get behind the wheel has been a challenge for the past year or so.
Hiring drivers is #1 issue for trucking companies.
But things are looking up.
Now we're seeing a little bit of a better inflow of drivers with the economy slowing down.
Once the drivers are secured, it's time to hit the road, and that means dealing with one of the biggest issues looming over the transport industry: the price of diesel.
Russia was a huge producer of diesel. Embargo Russia the purchase of diesel fuel. The refiners are pushing out as much as they can.
Over the last year, the cost of diesel has spiked over 40% compared with 11% for gasoline. It costs about $60,000 to fuel just one of these trucks for a year. Vega Transport has found ways to make its trips more fuel efficient.
So instead of having 2 tires, we only have 1, and that saves 4% in fuel.
America is facing the risk of a massive freight railroad strike. If the rails shut down, we could see shortages in everything from gas and food to chemicals and cars, and price hikes for consumer goods. A rail strike would mean trouble for our national economy and major pressure on the trucking industry to ramp up transports.
I have not witnessed a railroad strike during my lifetime, so I'm not sure what the effects will be, but if there is additional freight and business, we're going to welcome it. We'll be ready.
Now, though a rail strike is looming, it probably won't affect your holiday. Experts are saying that we're not likely to see immediate or even severe disruptions at Christmas because most of those goods that retailers need for the holidays have already been moved on the rails and stored in warehouses.